on this computer. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the WWHW podcast. We're joined with Mr. Lance Tamashiro, and he is going to talk to us all about social media posting and social media posting in a way that doesn't take up a lot of your time, but also gets some results. And his website is tamashiromarketing.com. He's based in the Salt Lake City area. How are things today, Mr. Lance?
Oh, they're super good. And, I think this is something that a lot of people are currently getting wrong. And what's sad is the people that are getting it right are turning it into a full-time job for themselves. So hopefully we can sort of figure out an in-between ground where people can do it right and not have it consume their entire day.
Perfect. That's what we all want, because in this day and age, for some reason, we're always expected to be connected 24 hours a day and always liking and sharing and posting to Instagram. And it seems exhausting, and it seems like a way to do a lot of work and not get paid. So when you're saying that some people are doing the social media thing wrong, when you go to that typical business owner's page, like what are these extremes you're seeing?
So I think like the first thing is that, first of all, realizing that we're talking about small businesses, local businesses, entrepreneurs. So not your chain restaurant, your normal restaurant, your Etsy seller, your neighbor who runs whatever kind of business, your insurance agent that is off on their own, real estate agents. And what you see happening with them is one of two extremes. The first extreme is that they got their social media accounts and they're all excited about them, right? So they've got their Facebook page, their Twitter account, their Instagram account, all of their stuff, and they post nonstop, right? Like you leave a message and they're leaving a message back to you, and they're posting all over the place, and it's just like, it's crazy. Like they're there all of the time. And when you really sit back and talk to these people, what you find is that is what they do all day. Like they don't do the job that they do, but they've convinced themselves that they're busy because they're talking to whoever. Most of the times they're friends. Very rarely does what they do turn into a business lead. So they trick themselves into thinking that they are doing work when in fact they're not. They're just playing around on social media. Then what you also see is the people that say, okay, I'm going to do it by myself. And you see like every day they make a post maybe for a month or 6 weeks, and those are the ones that go a long time, but then they drop off the planet, right? And I have a page like that, like I have a Twitter page that was posted on for years, just like constantly going out, always something going out, hasn't been posted on in probably at least a year, if not more, maybe 2 years at this point. And so then the question becomes, well, if you're a business person and you're putting yourselves out there, you have a store, you have a personal brand or an actual brand, and I go look you up on social media, well, it looks worse that you had a page that you were maintaining and then completely stopped maintaining. And so what people need to try to figure out is how to have that balance of a consistent message going out, or consistent information going out, even, and your own free time, right? Where that's not your job. And luckily in today's day and age, there's a lot of automated solutions for doing that. And actually even more so is coming up with the content. And it's a lot like podcasting, right? Where people go, well, I'm just going to like have a podcast about membership sites. And then they go for it for, 2 weeks, and then they run out of things to talk about. Well, the same thing happens on social media. So it's really important to dial in things that you can talk about in a wide niche and automate as much of that as possible.
Great. So I'm hearing two things from you. I'm hearing that it's important for us to automate our posting. That way we're solving this initial problem of it's a full-time job for not a lot of results and we get burned out, and then someone sees this abandoned storefront. So there's the automation problem. And then there's also like finding that perfect content to post. And so is there an easy way to get a little bit of the solved here? Like what would we use to get some of this automation going on our Facebook presence?
So for automation, there are a couple of different types of tools that you can use. You can use, if you go check out, the big players are like eClincher. Um, what are some of the other names? Like
Meet Edgar.
Meet Edgar, Buffer, all of these things. And the problem with a lot of them is that they don't, none of them have really good training set up for people. So people don't understand when they get in what they do. So no matter what system you decide to go with, and you should have a system, another bonus with all of those is that it gives you a place to see when people are sending you messages or see when people are responding to your ads. And from in that one dashboard, you can then reply, like whatever, all of the normal things that you would be able to do in social media. So you don't need these pings going on your phone and, notifications going up on your app. Most of them allow you to add sub users, so you can hire out to have somebody do that for you. So here's what you should think about if you get one of these services. The first thing is start small. So connect one or two accounts so that you can sort of get the flow of how it works and how the scheduling works. And then you can always add in more accounts, and you can use the content that you've already pulled in and scheduled. The second thing is, once you have your account hooked up, make sure that it can use an RSS feed. So a lot of these services now will let you plug in an RSS feed from blogs so there might be maybe 5 blogs that you like. Well, who cares if you're giving good content, right? If you're just sending it, because it's social media. That's what we do anyway. And it gets you out of the trap of always promoting yourself, right? You're actually giving other opinions, giving things to talk about. So what they allow you to do is you can pick as many as you want, but just say pick 2 or 3 blogs that you really like, put those that are in your niche, and you can plug them in as an RSS feed, and then they become a source that automatically feed into your, they call it queue or schedule when you're posting out. So that way, it comes in and it posts, and then it'll auto recycle all of those once you've had them posted. So you've always got new content going. Second thing is you can do the same thing with your podcast, right? You can put in the RSS feed to your podcast. It loads it all in. And if there's a new one, it'll move it to the front of the queue. And if there's not, it'll just grab something randomly from the old stuff. So that's a real easy way just to get started, is to use like RSS feeds off your own blog. You can use the RSS feed off your Etsy store if that's what you've got. So any of these places, you just find out how to grab the RSS feed, post it in, and that takes care of your content without the promotional stuff taken care of right away. But it just builds that awareness and that audience and that following. So as long as it's in your niche, that works really well.
Fantastic. And so the answers I'm getting from you are, number one, know where to get these sub users, so that way it doesn't have to just be you. You can have an employee or an outsourcer at some point post things for you. And then I'm also hearing that we can tap into these sources, these RSS feeds, just have a lot of stuff to sort through and pick and choose and create this queue. That way we're not scrambling every single day, every single week. We can get things ready to go on a schedule for months ahead of time. And then that way we don't get burned out. And that way this does not become a chore. Is that right?
Well, yes. And what these things do is they say, is there new content? No. So I'll just go grab something that I've previously posted. So it's not even scheduled. I mean, you can start theoretically with, one post. It would just post it every day. But if you had an RSS feed bringing it in and you had 10 blog posts, well, you got 10 days before any of that starts to recycle again. And, people, think they really over worry about like, ooh, I just posted that 30 days ago. It's like, first of all, nobody paid attention, probably. Maybe a couple of people, right? If you got a following of 1,000, maybe like 10 actually sat and read it and clicked. Um, and then the other thing is that nobody remembers or engages. And I mean, the best sort of example about thinking about that is like these memes, right? Like you can grab the oldest meme in the world, post it on Facebook, and everybody goes crazy. And it's like people haven't seen it. Just because you've seen it, just because you posted it and you know about it, doesn't mean your audience saw it. I mean, the very few times I actually log into Facebook, I scroll like twice on my phone and turn it off. Like, so if somebody posted something, chances that I saw it are like this big. But if I keep putting it out there, then it'll show up eventually.
Super cool. And so that's some really good advice. That first of all, what I heard from you was that it's okay to share other people's stuff. That's what social media is about. And if you have some doctor's office and all they're doing is saying every week we've got specials or coming for this, that gets really boring really quick. But if you can find other articles, material in that niche to help out, like give people information, that's what people want. They're on Facebook anyway. They're getting a million distractions anyway. Why not take part in some of that social sharing? And then I also like how, like you said, if we run out of content, run out of that queue, then it starts back around. And even if people are seeing something from 6 months ago, even if you've seen it, they haven't seen it. And so, and what I'm getting from all this conversation here is that there's two sides of the coin, right? Is that there's some people who they just talk about theory and strategy, but then it's like, well, how do I implement it? And then you hear people saying, well, do all these technical steps, use these services or platforms, but then there's no real strategy. And so do you have some place to point us where they can get the best of both worlds, where they can get the benefits of this social sharing, but also they know what it is to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think a good place to go would be socialmediadashboard.io. They can go check it out over there. We've got a good system set up that, runs, that works, that is a mix between having features but not overloading features. And it contains like all the things that you need to do this the right way and to do it a simple way.
Fantastic. So if you want all those things in one place, if you want it simple, but you want all the features, if you know that you're probably missing out on the full potential of Facebook and you want to promote your local business, you want to promote your online business, and you don't want to get stuck in this trap that so many other people who have come before you have fallen into, don't do it without tools. Don't try to do it by hand. Don't go it alone. Go to socialmediadashboard.io and you'll be glad that you did, and you'll be able to tap into this power of Facebook and social media traffic. So thanks a bunch for showing up. Lance Tamashiro from socialmediadashboard.io. Thank you very much.